What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Monday was a smash. I ended up having a 6-1-1 day in totals and spreads and everything. So run lines, totals, money lines. That was a fantastic run out. Nobody said like anything, which is a little bit strange, but Tuesday, we'll see how this all comes to fruition. We have a lot of weather. A lot of weather showed up Tuesday morning. Made it kind of hard to really pull the trigger on some of the leans that had some positive line movement, but then like Atlanta, Cincinnati, there were some interesting spots there. Tried to take the under of Chris Sale, 1.5 earned runs there in that one, and hoping that game would start, and then you'd be running into, so it'll depend on what book. Again, know the rules of your books. No Bet365. Sign up for that down at the link below, especially if you're in Pennsylvania, because again, bang, Bet 5, get 150 in bonus bets and 50 spins on the old slot machines. Yes, a little bit extra money that can go in your pocket there. Bet 5, get 150 only for 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. So without further ado, producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. We begin our boarding walk with Cincinnati and Atlanta. Now, this is probably going to end up being a doubleheader, so just be apprised of that one. I think Atlanta, I just got a Twitter notification. This will be great. Oh, really? We're going to do this to me as I'm doing the first game, as I'm talking? I'm not going back. F it. We'll do it live. Tonight's game against Cincinnati Reds has been postponed due to inclement weather. This game has been rescheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, at 6:05 p.m. Eastern Time as part of a split doubleheader. Gates will open at 11 a.m., yada, 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 so on, so forth, etc., etc. That's from Willy Wonka. Nobody cares. Cool. Anywho, we're probably looking at Chris Sale pitching one of these two. We're probably looking at this Wins character, probably starting another one of these. So be on the lookout exactly what we're going to be getting here in some capacity. I don't know which pitcher is going to start which game. Neither do you. Neither does anybody. But I think Frankie Montas has to be the other Cincinnati Red that shows up here and throws the ball out in some capacity. But I'm going to go Montas and Winans, and then I'm just going to move everything over one day from what we just had today. So Chris Sale probably going to be showing up yet again. Oh, this is going to be weird. It's going to be very, very weird. Whatever. Atlanta, I had -1.5 if it's a rain out. Cincinnati money line if not, mainly because I didn't know if it was going to be a split game or anything, but I was trying to be smart and proactive. And then, of course, this alert comes in as I'm talking. We got a lot to dig through on this one. Talk to me tomorrow morning. Yes, hit me up on X at Eric Lindquist, or you know, go to the premium Discord and you can yell at me. All right, St. Louis, Pittsburgh. We're going to fly through this one here too, mainly because we only have Martin Perez as an announced starting pitcher. I have no clue who St. Louis ends up utilizing here in some capacity. Now, Paul Skeens did enter that 9th inning. He ends up giving up a run, ends up going down 2-1. If you had the under of 1.5 earned runs there, and then one out, like the bottom of the order guy gets a double. I think it was Wins that hit him in. I was watching it for a quick second because people were going insane in Pittsburgh when Paul Skeens came out for that 9th inning. It was actually a pretty cool scene. And then, of course, he gives up that earned run. I apologize to anybody who might have taken that under of 1.5. I was only looking at Chris Sale for it. Anyway, do I have anything from this one? No, I said I was going to be quick with it. Wilson Contreras. I think that there's some fun Contreras correlation that we can potentially have on this card. The Wilson version will come up here going up against a lefty. Pretty decent hard hit numbers from him. Obviously, Arenado goes yard on Skeens. That's a righty. This is a little different. Martin Perez gives up high, hard contact from the left side, 369 xWOBA. Looking at Mr. Contreras, the Wilson variety. Wilson being able to get 2+ bases here. Get ready for the Cubs game. Might be looking for it. Philly at Minnesota, Aaron Nola and Louis Varland. And Louis Varland, really cool story. I went to Arizona. I was hanging out for spring training stuff. Obviously, they play in Florida, but his brother, Louis Varland's brother, pitching as a reliever for the Milwaukee Brewers, who do play their games out in Arizona. And ended up getting to talk with his parents for a while. The entire time I'm thinking in the back of my head, man, I really don't like your other son who pitches for my Twins. It just is what it is. It comes with the territory of doing this. But they were very, very kind, very, very sweet. And Louis Varland's brother came in and struck out the side in that game. I think they were playing the Mariners. Yeah, it was the Seattle Mariners, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it was just incredible stuff. Pretty emotional to watch the parents, as their believer son came in, struck out the side. And that's all more interesting than talking about this game because I think it's about perfectly efficient. Now, if it is Louis Varland out here, like I expect it to be, you got to be looking at the Philadelphia side, but there's no way we're going to get any value here. I would be shocked, floored, surprised, absolutely. No idea what that was. Philadelphia. Money line or run line, something down here. Can we just move to the next game? Thank you, producer Jacob. Sorry about that, everybody. Milwaukee, Chicago. My brain just goes different places sometimes, just like Justin Steele. He is very, very good at the old pitching of the baseballs. Except for last time out, it was a little bit spotty. And it's probably the first real blemish that we've had on any kind of outing for Justin Steele here. He's had a pretty abbreviated season. He pitched once in March, but then didn't show up for a month plus as he was working himself back, rehabbing himself back. He's looked great, 3.26 ERA, 1.02 whip, but Arizona lit him up for 5, less than 5 outings. You're looking at the wind potentially blowing out here again. Now, they're going to get a very late start on this game. It starts actually in 10 minutes from me recording right now. It is 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, so they're going to be playing some late baseball. Going to look at some bullpen usage, but I brought it up again. Or I brought it up before. Now I'll bring it up again. William Contreras. Why can I not talk today? What is going on with me? What is going on, producer Jacob? Whatever, it's the other Contreras. Both Contreras together for 2+ bases just seems like a fun thing to throw out there for the people. Now, I expect them both to be plus money. This one, probably not as much, so pay very, very, very close attention. Good talk. Glad we had it. Finally, we're away from some of the lean stuff, although the Contreras spots, I'm definitely going to be paying close attention to. Want better than plus 135. God, stop calling me mom. Plus 135 there on the Wilson Contreras side of things. I want better than plus 125 on the William Contreras side of things for 2+ total bases or over 1.5 total bases, whatever you have you. But in this spot, Nick Pivetta versus Cal Quantrill, we're looking for runs. And let's talk about range of outcomes because 10 and 10.5 are the prevailing numbers. It's sitting at minus 125, minus 122 at the two spots where it's sitting for 10. I don't really want that because in range of outcomes, how many times does it land on 11 or more runs relative to how many times does it land on 10 or fewer runs? Because really that's the gap. That half run isn't worth a ton. It's not worth the difference between minus 125 is 105 where I bet this over at BetMGM. Again, 10.5 being the prevailing number, minus 105. I'm looking at about 57, 58% of the time this game goes for 11 or more runs. I don't need to be considering as much of the hook here in this spot. Now, that can look really silly when it's a 7-3 ball game and, I'll be in shambles. But I still think Nick Pivetta, while he's got good strikeout stuff, we definitely want to be looking, definitely want to be looking at runs being scored because he continues to give up hard contact. And Cal Quantrill, let me count the ways that Quantrill is not very good. A lot of ways. A lot of ways to make money over at OddsShopper. If you sign up at the link below, friends, OS Premium Tools, Discord Insider Access. What does it all mean, Basil? Well, I'll tell you. OS Premium Tools, that is the positive EV tool. We're talking about the holy grail, the thing you should be utilizing no matter what state you're in. It curates it to the state you're in, the books that you have, everything you know and love. Now, if you have a fantasy site, if that's the primary way that you're playing props over online or you're playing offshore stuff, either way, you can sign up and check out all of the goodies over there for the OS Premium Tools because it's updating for Prize Picks, Underdog, DraftKings Pick 6, so much more. Check out the tools and then the Discord Insider Access. That's where I'm hanging out every single day, Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends too, because I like to have me some fun. $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly, but it goes even better when you use promo code Lindy, 20% off, friends. Expert Picks, Discord Premium Tools. That is $12 for your first week to try it out. If you've enjoyed this program all season long, come hang out with me for a week. If you don't like me, well, sorry. Back to the picks we go. Houston and Oakland, and JP Sears, probably not going to go out of my way to be betting this one. It's a low variance ballpark. By that, I mean Anaheim, not a ton of runs scored in, 8.5 on the higher end of totals that we're going to run into here. And yet, I'm surprised that it's at 8.5. I looked at the under, but I'm thinking Hunter Brown, 6.5, 7.5 strikeouts, like big plus money on the 7.5. This is going to be what we want. We want to K-ladder him up to 8 here. I mean, Oakland continues to strike out an absolute metric ton against right-handed pitchers, 26.1% of the time. That's the second highest mark in baseball behind the Seattle Mariners, who are actually 2.7% higher, which is insane to look at. But Oakland, well, they've been around league average against right-handed pitching. Congratulations, you're around league average, Oakland. They're going to get lit up by Hunter Brown here in the strikeout department. I'm excited for it. Hey, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Griffin Canning, Luis Castillo, perfectly efficient game. Next. Yeah, I didn't really want to waste your time there because there's something to talk about here, a lot to talk about here. You got Edward Cabrera on one side, and then the other guy that I really want to be highlighting, he probably matters a lot more as we head into the evening window of baseball games. It is going to be this brand new spanking starter because Chase McDermott is getting called up by the Baltimore Orioles. Chase McDermott, okay. Doesn't seem like he's all that good. 3.96 ERA. Looked at some of his pitch mixes. I mean, he's had some strikeout stuff. He's got 129 of them over 91 innings in Norfolk, but one thing that happens routinely going from AAA to the majors is you see a diminished strikeout rate. And as such, there are two professional hitters from the left side that I feel like I've bet a lot against sketchy righties, even in a ballpark like Miami that isn't all that fruitful for runs and production. It's Jazz Chisholm. It's Jesus Sanchez. I feel like I've talked about them a ton throughout this season. If not here, for sure, just talking through specific bets with people on different shows because I mean, they're really the only two major league quality hitters from the left side that show up here. Brian De La Cruz righty, Jake Berger righty, even though he's had a dismal season in terms of xWOBA 301 mark there, striking out a ton. But Jesus Sanchez, 491 expected slugging, 52.6% hard hit, followed by Jazz Chisholm. He's had a down year by his standards, but still a 421 expected slugging. That isn't nothing. I'm looking at them 2+ total bases and home run numbers here. I'm looking again, nice mid-range plus money here on the total bases. And the home runs, my break-even numbers. Let me actually pull this back up. Jesus Sanchez plus 550 or better. Jazz Chisholm plus 575 or better. I think we're going to get both of those. Good talk. Detroit at Cleveland, and this is a sketchy one. Jack Flaherty, Tanner Bybee, two really good pitchers. I kept going back and forth. Do I really want to pull the trigger on plus 118 Jack Flaherty going up against these Cleveland Guardians that just have a lot of ammunition from the left side? Josh Naylor, Jose Ramirez, Steven Kwan hits a homer. I mean, stop looking at me, Kwan. He's good. And also, I don't know if anybody saw the absolute missile that Angel Martinez hit. Thought it was foul. It was absolutely terrible. But anywho, we're continuing on our merry way because I like the under of 7.5 here. Yes, it's yet again decent enough hitting weather there in Cleveland. Yes, it's playing up for some of the lefty power, which definitely freaks me out, but two phenomenal pitchers at the moment. Bybee, 35.5% hard hit, 27.8% K rate. Looking at it similarly for Jack Flaherty, 35.6% hard hit, 32.4% K rate, under 7.5, all starting pitching. And then two bullpens that, I mean, it was 5-4 ball game. They did utilize some of those pieces here as I was piecing that in here. Fado, you had basically a glorified bullpen game, but Wentz was able to eat 2 innings. And then, well, they only played 8 innings of ball there because Cleveland won. So didn't have to utilize their closers. And then Cleveland on the other side of this one, Clase did close, but only 9 pitches, continues to be a god under 7.5. I almost locked this. I absolutely almost locked this. And then I just remembered that Matt Waldron, while I really, really like the stuff, he's not perfect. And that's really kind of the entire point here. When it comes down to betting baseball, you are looking at starting pitchers and you are doing as much as you possibly can to assess the success of the hitters against them, success for their pitch mix. Matt Waldron, primarily knuckleball guy, not somebody that you see every single day, and that makes it at least interesting here. And then Mitchell Parker, he's been getting lucky, 447 expected slugging. So the other part of it is looking at what the range of outcomes are for specific hitters here. And Mitchell Parker, I do think that these righties that we have here for San Diego, although they've looked awesome against fellow right-handers, we're talking San Diego, 4th in baseball, 115 WRC plus against righties. They've still been okay against lefties to a point where I still think we're going to see positive regression for this lineup. Obviously, they need a lot of help at the deadline. They need Fernando Tatis to stop getting hurt and stop doing stupid stuff because he is a dum-dum. But yeah, my sheet is completely frozen. Here it is. 99 WRC plus there. They're about league average, but Mitchell Parker, I think there's more that they can get after here on this side of things. I do want to see who's catching because I always prefer it to be Keibert Ruiz. He's not a very good defensive catcher, even though he's the much better hitter between him and Riley Adams. As for Higashioka and Camposano on the other side, they're both kind of meh to me in terms of defensive prowess. I do expect runs to be scored, but minus 118 here on the San Diego side, that's too small of a number. It's over on FanDuel. Everything else is minus 128 or higher, minus 130 or higher. So more of a play also on shopping for the best number, but I would be betting this up to minus 130. I'd be just fine. I'm also fine with you guys checking out Bet365, especially if you're in the great state of Pennsylvania. You bet $5 at the link below right now. You're going to get $150 in bonus bets as well as 50 spins. That is 50 spins in their casino there on that lovely slot machine they've got going virtually over at Bet365. But put it into your portfolio here for the sports betting purposes. Bet 5, get 150. That's a no-brainer deal down there at the link below. Only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. Sean Manaea, Garrett Cole up here next. I don't have a ton of interest here. Garrett Cole's looked much, much better. 12 innings pitched, 2 earned runs total his last 2 outings. Again, 6 innings pitched in each of those, over 103 pitches in each of those. Just pass all the way around. Yankees, if you made me, plus 126, Cole the better side of things. This is pretty darn efficient. Thought about the money line, thought about the over here potentially, but 8.5, this is perfectly efficient. Think the Yankees do most of the damage as such. Maybe a team total or pass? Just really nothing standing out to me here as of the night before. Next up, another game that I'm just not going to waste your time with here. Toronto money line is going to be a lean for me with Eflin and Yadiel Rodriguez, but overall, Eflin's going to have a better second half of the season, I believe. And Rodriguez, I really don't know what to make of him overall. Thought about Toronto with the plus money attached to it, but I still think Eflin will start to show improvement. We'll get past the deadline. Tampa Bay will be one way or the other. Just a pass here leading up until the deadline, probably on a lot of Tampa Bay games. Chris Flexen stays rolling in his candy paint, rolling dank, sip and drank on an 84 swing. I'm required by law to do that. But Chris Flexen and Nathan Eovaldi, God, this is a massive spread to be looking at. But Corey Seager is actually the main thing I want to highlight, center star in this one. He's very good. He's very good at the hitting of the baseballs. Chris Flexen's starting to get rocked like we expected at the beginning of the season. 453 expected slugging, 341 xWOBA. But the big thing, 17-degree average launch angle, only a 37% ground ball percentage against lefties. Oh boy, are you going to run into one here. Corey Seager to go yard, to hit it very, very far in Arlington. Oh, anything better than plus 250 is going to be on the card. This is like autoplay. I say that knowing full well there could end up being like, I don't know, plus 240. Corey Seager, and that would really suck. But anyway, this really sucks seeing how good Ryan Nelson's been of late, but those are the opportunities when you can really, really go against your, you can bet on your priors. And my priors for Ryan Nelson are you should be betting against him. And Michael Wacha, he's shown a lot of improvement this season. This is yet another interesting game environment with the wind blowing out here, mid 80-ish degrees. That's kind of what you run into this time of year in Kansas City at 7 p.m. all the time. It is smarmy is probably the right way of putting it. It's basically Florida in the middle of the country. It is humid. But anywho, we're looking at Ryan Nelson starting to give up some earned runs, and Bobby Witt Jr. continues to set the world on fire. Don't really have anything else to add here. It's Kansas City, minus 1.5, but we're going to take the over of 9 in addition to it. I think enough runs get given up on both sides of things. So looking at Mike, let's go like 7-4. 7-4 sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? Kansas City 7-4. Season debut of Robbie Ray coming up here for the San Francisco Giants. He'll be taking on Tyler Glasnow. Now, Glasnow, we've seen a lot this season. When healthy, has been the best pitcher in that Dodgers stable, but Robbie Ray, tons of unknowns that exist with him coming off the 60-day IL. I don't want anything to do with this game. Let's get the heck up out of here. Let's just call it under 8, if you will, because I do have faith. Robbie Ray, going to pitch a couple of innings, 3-4 innings. There's no way he's going to get a full workload back, but quickly, you play the bullpen game against the Dodgers. It can get, you can survive that one. Under 8, just a lean, don't bet it. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for Wednesday. Thank you, producer Jacob. I'll be back tomorrow. Lindquist, best of luck in the MLB streets on Wednesday.